Hi, I'm Hunter from ScreenFeed. Today we're going to take a look at getting your Power BI reports and dashboards up on a screen using player level authentication. There are a few things that you'll need for this project, and the first one is a screen. It can be a smart display like the TV here, or it can be a projector, just some way of showing your information visually. The second thing that we're going to need is a player. In this video, we'll be talking about using BrightSigns and BrightSigns authentication specifically. If you do not have a BrightSign player, don't worry. We have other videos that talk about the other authentication methods available, and please check them out. The last thing that we're going to need is Power BI from ScreenFeed. But before we get to that, let's take a look at how we set up a BrightSign player.
All right, here's my BrightSign player. It's a Series 3 player. This is an older player. You could be using a Series 5 or a Series 4 player, which at the time of shooting this video, Series 5 is the latest. But they all should be able to handle it from 3 onward. And if you take a look, we'll take a peek at the ports. Here we've got our HDMI, which will need to go out to the TV. We've got our network. Some of these have wireless enabled. And then right here, we've got a micro SD. If I flip it over, here is my power. Now the power might look like this, or it might look more like what you'd imagine a traditional power source might look like, this kind of circular hole. This is not that. In this case, in this player, it's this, and it's demarcated by the amperage and voltage. So if we go back here, we take a look, we need the micro SD card, which has the firmware for the BrightSign on it. You can take a blank SD card and put it into the BrightSign right away, and it will enact the firmware for you on the first time with the auto run. So if you don't have to go through a whole formatting process, just plug it in and go. But know that it needs one to operate, otherwise it will not work. So next thing we're going to do is get it plugged into power. So I've got a nice power right here, power brick, and we saw the power was on the back. This actually clicks in, which is kind of nice. The other one just pushes in for the newer version. And then we're gonna do a little flip around, and I've got my HDMI that's going out to my TV that I'll plug right into the HDMI port. And then finally we need network because I'm not using wireless. So we'll grab that network connection and plug it in. Now the player is all set up and ready to go. We'll see on the screen that we'll need to adopt that BrightSign player into our BrightSign network.
Now that our BrightSign device is set up, let's get Power BI from ScreenFeed. Go to screenfeed.com and click Account. From here, search for Power BI. Select the Power BI tile. If you don't already have an account, you'll be asked to create an account. Power BI uses your content in Power BI reports and requires authentication and an account to pass that authentication to a specific user. Click Create New Feed, or if you have an existing account, you can add a Power BI trial under the subscriptions page. Name this feed and choose Sign in with Microsoft. Here, you will enter your authorized Microsoft user that has read access to the Power BI reports. This installs an enterprise application on the Microsoft tenant that can be scoped further by administrators in Microsoft Entra. It also leverages Microsoft's login authorization, which means that any two-factor authentication that is enabled will be accessible and required in this modal window. Once logged in and authenticated, choose your account. Select your workspace and add in reports to the feed. The feed will play back reports in series, and you can adjust the order by clicking on various arrows next to the feed name, the report names, and click the minus symbol to remove reports from your feed. Under Player Authentication, choose BrightSign. From here, set a variable name and a variable value. You also can elect to generate a value. Set the duration for each report. This would be, for example, under feed options, a 10-second view of that report. We have options for animation and intro adjustments, and then also alternative delivery methods. Note that HTML is the only method that works with player authentication. Click Create Feed. If you have a Bright Sign that is running Bright OS version 9.0.2.11 or higher, you can use this feed URL, which is a direct embed of your Power BI reports on the Bright Sign player. If you have a lesser Bright Sign OS, copy the playlist URL. Both work with the player authentication plugin. Click to download the player authentication Bright Sign script plugin. Next, go to Bright Author. Under Presentation, New, create a new presentation. Set your target player and click Start. This also works with existing presentations. Click on Content and Widgets and pull in the HTML5 widget. Next, paste in your URL. Go to Presentation Settings. Under Support Content, Script Plugin, click the plus. Select the script plugin, enter the name Screen Feed Auth. It's required that it is this exact name, including capital letters, and then choose your script plugin that you've downloaded as the script plugin source. If you're using Bright BSN Cloud to push presentations to players, note that BSN Cloud does not take special characters. So if you are like me and download the plugin multiple times, you may need to remove those special characters from the name. If you're pushing to the players locally, this does not matter. Next, under Variables, add a variable. Enter your variable name and variable value. You can always return to the feed configuration screen to get this information. You can set the access to private or shared. Private means that the variable applies only to this specific presentation. Shared means it applies to multiple presentations at the device level. So if you have another presentation in your schedule that includes Power BI that has the same variable, it's worthwhile considering switching to shared. Select your HTML5 widget one more time and make sure that you've enabled Bright Sign JavaScript objects. This allows the plugin and variables to be read and work properly. Click Save and Publish. Using a local network delivery, select your network and your players you want to push the presentation to. Then click Publish. The process is the same for BSN Cloud, except instead of local network, you would choose your groupings of players to apply and publish the presentation to. If you're unsure about your Bright Sign OS version and you're logged into a BSN account, click on Network. From here, at a glance, you can see the OS version, and you can update OS versions by clicking on the gear. So in this case, of my two devices, 9.1.93 is above 9.0.2.11. So this will work with our feed URL, and 8.5.70 will not. If I want to show Power BI information on that device, I either need to update its version or push the playlist URL. If I wanted to try to update this OS version, I can click on the gear. This accesses the device's diagnostic web server, or DWS. This can also be accessed through the IP address, the local IP address of the device. Click on Advanced, and I can see the available OS options. I can select. If I maybe want to do the beta, I can do that. I can click Update, and it will automatically update the player for me. If I don't want to update, we have other options, including that playlist solution.
So here it is, Power BI playing on a BrightSign player. This does use that secure authorization. We have other methods that will have videos come out that show how that operationally works. And if you're interested in other Microsoft products through ScreenFeed, we have a calendar integration, which we already have a video out for. And there's also going to be a video coming out about Teams communication. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.